On this segment of Zeneca Dorse Gear, we're going to talk to you about another game-changing product. If you watch very many of our videos, or read very much of our content, you'll notice that we're constantly talking about how we're trying to always find new and innovative solutions to old problems. And Kevin Peterson with the Matrix target system, I think, has knocked this one out of the park. He actually designed a target that has replaceable modules so that you can always shoot the center of the target. Obviously there's more features than that built in here, but to me that's the most important one. It's really nice to be able to shoot the center of mass, especially when you shoot at further yardages. And yet, as soon as you start doing that for very long with broadheads, you shoot the center out of your target, and all of a sudden, your $60, $80, $200 archery target is completely demolished, and there's still 60% of it or more that's good. And it's always been frustrating to me, and so I try to shoot the outer edges as often as possible at shorter yardages. But the Matrix allows you to constantly shoot the center, and when you wear out the center hexagon, you can go ahead and pull it out, rotate it out, and put a new hexagon into the center of it, and basically always be able to keep shooting the center of your target for over the life of the target. So the target weighs 43 pounds, so it's on the heavy side. It's a real durable target, but if you want to take a more portable version of it, you can actually take smaller sections of this to create smaller targets, or you can actually just take a single segment. They're 8 inches across. They're big enough to be able to check your bow in camp if you're out on a remote hunt somewhere and you want to make sure you've got something that you throw in the back of the pickup that's small and compact. You can actually just take one of the little modules out. So I'm going to show you how the Target disassembles and reassembles quickly. But in general, the Target is amazing. The arrow removal is incredible. Kevin spent a ton of time working with various manufacturers to dial in the perfect foam that would stop most arrows within about the first 8 inches of the target, and yet would literally, it's like 2-finger arrow removal, whether it's broadheads, field tips, even with some of the coated arrow shafts that are really hard to pull sometimes. There's some arrow shafts out there that are really hard to pull out of a target. They pull like a dream. So you can see this one's brand new. We'll put a couple arrows into it here before the review's over just to show you that, but at the end of the day, we've already put enough arrows into these targets to know that these are an absolute game changer. So there's just a couple of quick release buckles that you open up and feed the target a little bit of slack so that the pieces kind of start loosening up a little bit. When it comes from the factory, these are almost welded together a little bit just from transportation stuff. So you usually have to kind of force them apart a little. This one I've already had apart, so they came apart a little easier. But basically, once you're to this stage, all the components of the target are loose, and it's kind of nested like a puzzle. So there's actually an order that you do have to put them back in just to make sure, but it's very clear. I'll show you here real quick. So this is what one of the replacement modules look like, and they are available for sale as well. So even if you happen to shoot up all 7 of the main hexagons over the life of the target, you can replace them one at a time with new replacement modules. You'll notice that on the module, it's got basically, it's almost like a tongue and groove system where it's got grooves all the way around on this side. On one side, it'll have 2 raised pieces. You just got to make sure they go back in the right spot when you put the target together. But again, it's real easy to see visually. So anytime you shoot out a module and want to rotate a new one in, pull one out, grab another one, rotate it in, reinstall this one, and you're back to shooting the center of your target again. So I'll go ahead and put it back together here real quick. You just kind of work the slack out of the target, just like you would a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle, and snap him down, and it's good to go and ready to go shooting again. So again, the target is on the expensive side from a retail point of view. It retails at basically $320 because it's $295, but then there's $25 shipping. But I figure with the life of the target that I'm going to gain out of this thing relative to I usually shoot targets that range about 150 bucks as my broadhead targets. I think I'll probably get this one to last the lifetime of 4 or 5 of those $150 targets, just based on our initial testing, how well the foam's holding up, and everything else. So I think it's a great value, even at that price. Just as one last demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and shoot into the target. Obviously it's brand new, so it's going to be as hard as it's going to get, but I'm shooting a 410 grain arrow at 285 feet per second. So kind of on the upper end of average for most archers out there, I guess, but certainly not the fastest setup or the heaviest or the lightest, just kind of a nice average arrow setup, and we'll illustrate how easy these things pull. Okay, so the arrow pulls with one hand just like that. I got about 8 inches of penetration, which is about average on these on this target. And the foam healed so quickly you almost can't even see where I shot it. It's excellent self-healing foam, really easy arrow removal, and excellent long life.